Hello there, people of the internet. This is a 8-speed transmission on a Ford. They use these transmissions in the Edge with the 4-cylinder. They also use them, I believe, in Explorers and also Escapes, 2019 and newer, or 2020 and newer. This was supposed to be sort of a continuation of my last video. However, I was wrong. This is an 8-speed. The last video, I thought it was a 6, but it's a very similar procedure. In this video, I will show you how to service your 8-speed. First thing you're going to want to do is locate your vent, which, let me go ahead and pull the air box out. 7mm clamp, 7mm bolts. Oops. Slid that boot back a little bit, and here's an 8mm bolt if you have this. Okay. Don't drop this. That off of there. All right. Ow! All right, go ahead and get your cat claw and pop this retainer off of here for the wiring. Screwdriver may suffice too if you don't have a cat claw, but this cat claw right here is a very useful tool. See? It may also be called a interior trim tool. Okay. All right. Should be able to just pop this up out of here. Okay. Route it around the wiring harness. Actually, I pulled the harness out of the way. There was just a hook here where it went onto a hose. So that's all out of the way, and it comes right up. In a few minutes here, when you run the engine, you're going to want to hook the mass air sensor up here, or that may be a temp sensor. I don't remember. So just make sure you don't get any debris up in here while the engine's running. Just be careful. That is your vent right in here. You see that orange triangle? That's a cap. You just literally pull it straight up. It's easy. I will do that right now. Ow! Okay. And now you're going to get a long transmission funnel and get it down into that hole. See that hole that's in there now? Right there. It's going to fit a funnel in there. Something like that. I am going to pour a cleaner in and run the engine for about 15 minutes and clean the torque converter clutch and internals pretty well. Then I'll drain it for the first time. All right, here we go. There goes the cleaner. Woo! I will not be doing a flush on it. I'll just be draining and filling it 2 times. You can do 3 times if you want to. It's up to you. Okay. I've got the air box halfway in here just to connect this up, not get a check engine light. And also I hooked this thing up right here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start the engine and let it run for 15 minutes. Do not get any clouds of dust and debris up in here. It may suck into the engine, so be careful. All right, I'm going to rev it a few times to agitate any deposits. Work the cleaner into it. Do that a few more times, and I'm going to run it through the gears. Just get the cleaner through the valve body. All right, it's been about 10 minutes, maybe 15, so I'm going to turn the engine off and raise the car up, or if you're working at home, get underneath. All right, you may have a service panel underneath here. You will need to remove that. Depending on your car, it may be fastened on with 7mm screws like this all the way around. Just follow it and take them all out. Or you may have Torx 30 screws. It just depends, once again, on your car. I'm going to go around and take all the 7mm off on the perimeter of this panel. Okay, I took the screws off, and that just fell right off right there. If you've got an 8-speed transmission, this is your drain right here. It's a 14mm. If you've got a 6-speed, it'll be in the same spot, and it'll be an 11mm. All right, let's go ahead and get this 14 out of here. When you go back together with it, they don't get super tight. Just take note of how tight it is when you break it loose here. See, it doesn't take much. All right, just go on and unthread it. You may start to get a few dribbles and get on you there. Just be mindful of that. All right. Yeah, that is some dirty fluid. I can smell the cleaner in it. That's good. It's dispersed itself through the fluid. So just wait till it comes down to a drip, drip, drip like that, and it'll be empty. You will lose about 4.5 quarts whenever you just drain it from here. There'll still be some left in the transmission. Just go ahead and keep draining here. Make sure that your gasket, see that on the drain plug, is in good condition. Replace it if it's not. Okay, still draining. All right, well, I'm going to be draining it again, so that's good enough for now. Like I said, I'll be draining it twice, so it doesn't have to be perfectly empty the first time. Just get it finger tight if you're going to be draining it again. You don't have to torque it this time. Back on top here, since this is not the final fill, I'll just be dumping in 5 quarts of ULV. That is, once again, Mercon ULV. That's what these 8 and 10 speeds take. If you have a 6-speed, the 6 speeds take LV. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to dump 5 quarts in, and then I'm going to let it run for about 15 minutes and then drain it again. As you're pouring, you may note that you get a fluid lock where it won't drain down in. You can try to jiggle try to move it around, get a little air to seep past the bottom where it's slid into that grommet there. Or just be patient, but be prepared for some splashing to occur. If you cannot get the fluid to drain down, there is a rubber cap located right here. Mine's removed. The rubber cap will be labeled as do not remove, but you can pull it out and get a little extra airflow. Alright, I poured the last of the 5th quart in. So I'm going to go ahead and start the engine and run it for about 10 or 15 minutes. Before I started, I went ahead and popped that rubber piece back on that says do not remove, just to be safe. Alright, running it for 15 minutes, we'll do a couple things. It's going to take that new fresh fluid in there. It's going to mix into the old fluid and sort of pick it up and allow you to drain it out on the second drain. And it's also going to work in with the remainder of the cleaner in there and do a little bit more cleaning. So I'll talk to you in about 10 or 15 minutes. Hello. Alright, it's been 10 minutes, maybe 15. Go ahead and shut the engine off and drain this out again. Please hit that subscribe button. Just a little FYI, if you plan on checking the fluid level in your transmission, make sure you take it on a ride, get it to operating temperature, and over here by the driver's side axle, there is a check plug right there. Let me get a good view of it. Alright, my finger is on it right now. See? That is a Hex 10, and you pull that out with the engine running hot, and it should have a slow stream coming out. Be about level with that plug. But I'm going to give you the fluid amount. That's going to get it right in the range to begin with, which is going to be about between 4 1/3 to 4.5 quarts. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and drain it. Ooh, I'm so strong. People tell me I'm so strong that they can smell me from a mile away. There we go. See how it sort of picked up the rest of the dirty fluid in there, and it's pulling it out now? That's exactly what I'm looking for right there. If I hadn't run the engine, it may just be clean fluid coming out again this time, so definitely run it for a while, and you'll get these results as well. Alright, that's good and empty right there. I'm going to go ahead and stick the plug in. There it is. Okay, get it started a few threads here and wipe everything off really well as you turn it. There we go. Now for the final torque. Unless you're going to be draining it another time, then you can just get it finger tight again. But alright, see how it just kind of got firm right there? Alright, that's good right there. You don't need to go crazy with it. Alright. If you're going to be checking the fluid level in the transmission, just leave the service panel off for now, otherwise put it back on. Back on top here once again. So this is the final fill. You can put in between 4 1/3 to 4.5 quarts of ULV for an 8-speed, or LV for a 6-speed. But first, the torque converter is shuttering on this, so I'm going to add a friction modifier and a fluid conditioner. I am not sponsored by BG. This is just what our shop has. This is the conditioner. Pour that in. And then I have LubeGuard Shutter Fix, which has been a miracle worker for curing torque converter shutter. Once again, I'm not sponsored by anybody here. This is just what we've been using at the shop. Okay, I got a fluid lock here. Excuse me one moment. I'm going to pull that plug out. Sort of reached down there like that and grabbed it with my fingers and pulled it out. Do not forget to put that in. Slowly starting to move down, very slowly. Go ahead and get the rest of this shutter fix in here. I'm just pouring pure life into this transmission right now. Pardon the mess. I do have about between a third and a half of fluid in this one pre-measured out. So I'm going to just pour that in first, followed by the following 4 quarts afterwards. And I'm going to be patient as this takes a while to fill. So just be prepared for that. The reason I put the additives in first is so that pouring the fluid on top of them will sort of mix them up and disperse them quicker. Once you are finished installing the last bit of fluid in there, if you want to check the fluid level, go ahead with it warm. Do get your air box and everything back together. Make sure, once again, that you get this do not remove plug back installed. And also your vent cap, obviously. If you put a friction modifier or anything in there to help with torque converter shutter, do let it sit here and idle for about 30 minutes and work it through the torque converter clutch before you drive it. That'll sort of get rid of the shutter quicker for you there. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If so, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Have a fantastic day either way, and safe driving.